probably the most confident EnVy's ever been. And it's weird because you see, you know, the upsets happen previously for SSG and for NRG, and you'd assume maybe they'd be shaking a little bit nervous. But actually, even if they were to lose this series, they could have the classic excuse of, you know what, that's just what was happening to everybody. It's not that big of a deal. So I genuinely think that's going to make the mentality of EnVy that much stronger and carefree in this series.
I mean, one thing BoSF can count on if they do start finding success is EnVy do have a tendency to start matches pretty slow, and almost got scored on there by BoSF. Already some nice passes in front of the box for this team, but Team EnVy get the clear downfield.
Yeah, and BoSF, I mean, they made it to the grid. In the first week, they went 2-9, didn't take a series. Out of all those 3 individual matchups that they had, you know, it was tough from them, to say the least. But there is potential. I mean, I think these guys have a lot to prove. They've been doing well in qualifiers, especially to get even to this regional event, they did well. So you can expect some crazy plays from them, given the chance.
Yeah, the synergy is obviously there. And I've gotten a chance to watch this team a couple of times. You definitely keep your eyes on all 3 of them at any time, but Krasix seems to find himself behind the ball on offense a lot when they do have some success. You're talking about one of the toughest defenses in North America in Team EnVy. You know, you're going to have to work for your food. And BoSF are trying to work with these passing plays, but EnVy have shut off the favorable options. So they're having to fight for midfield again.
Yeah, not the midfield control we expected out of EnVy right away. Turbopolsa definitely going to be at the forefront of that. And you can see why now getting the bump on Toasty, who's going to follow it up, save his flip, and then keep going forward. That was a very unique play. One where he utilized the situation. Toasty, huge move from him as he transitions out. This is what's caused all this pressure. If we got a goal from that, I would have loved it, but still, EnVy are going to break away.
Yeah, they do get this clear. And you talk about EnVy, they have to be feeling really good about this match. Man, I don't know. I think BoSF, as they get scored on, Turbo will score. But I think just the way that they've been playing in the first half of game 1, like, hey, if Ghost of Version 1 can win today, why can't we?
Right.
But Turbo puts the first one in for EnVy.
Yeah, I was definitely a little bit scared there in the final moment, but Turbo, of course, is going to be the classic Turbo clutch up whenever he needs to. Always winning those 50s. And, you know, he's a player that's not necessarily the same as Rizzo, but somebody who might not be the flashiest, but he gets the job done and is that consistent rock that EnVy needs. Yeah,
you can always count on Turbopolsa to at least be in the right spot. And having him and Mist be that reliable when it comes to positioning, really it helps them make up for each other when there's the few times that you catch them out of rotation or not in position. Really, it all falls on Atomic to hit passes like that, where when Atomic's behind the ball and he has a little bit of space to pass it, this is just a good read off the wall and a good pass. But he is the X factor of EnVy. He really decides whether or not they end up winning matches.
Yeah, and that left side of the net is just getting beaten and bruised so far. That's 2 goals getting hammered all the way into that pocket, excuse me. And you can tell, like you said, Jorby, you know, especially with Atomic, he's got a lot of raw potential with mechanics, and whenever he's given space, it's pretty much over once he starts getting warmed up with those mechanics.
He's really dangerous out of the corner. He somehow always finds a way to shovel that ball out and at least give his team a chance at it. But EnVy, a lot of their struggles in the top 4 especially have been, you know, their defense has been consistent, but they've struggled to put offense on consistently just in those matches. But they typically do dominate against those lower level teams, which is why they are in the top 4. They're the only team that can beat those other teams consistently. Right now, it's BoSF struggling to really keep the ball out of their own half. So much space for Atomic, back over to Mist. Demo on the backside for Atomic. Well, Mist covered the distance, and that's going to be difficult for BoSF to move downfield on, but LJ does it. LJ does it all, and he gets the goal. All right, BoSF on the board, split the lead.
LJ by himself. You see Krasix, that's such good patience from him. He waits for that first challenge, just a little delay in that flick to give LJ the space to beat out the second man who's flying in. 2 players then from EnVy who got outpaced, which is something you don't usually see. LJ, massive early shot from him, and also Krasix. What a play from them.
Toasty had initially jumped for that ball, expecting the challenge, but it recovered, and Turbo, just the mere threat of him on the back wall, he doesn't even have to hit it again, and it just goes in for Atomic.
You thought there was a little bit of a chance. Oh, wait, what? I swear I thought I heard a sound real quick whenever Turbo flipped past the ball. I thought maybe he got a little contact on it, but unfortunately, like you said, it was just a threat. That's all he needs, coming off the backboard. Even as a goalkeeper, you see Turbo fly off the backboard, you're hesitating a little bit more, Dorby.
Struggles for the Board of Shadowy Figures in game number 1, but I think there's a lot of good things you can point to in this game that they can build off of. When they did get control of midfield, they were always looking for each other on the passing plays and opted to mix it up a couple of times as well. If they had to bang it downfield, they would, but the issue comes with the consistent control, right? The possession. Like, can they actually retain possession, consistently beat EnVy to the ball on the blue half? They did it a couple of times, but where they got into trouble, at least for my measure, Turtle, was on the transition game. And that's where things really flipped for EnVy overall.
Yeah, I agree. We just saw a massive clear from Turbo where he just clanged it basically from his own corner. And in instances like that, you need to find somebody who's challenging. Otherwise, EnVy are just going to keep on transitioning out very easily. That's something you need to start cutting off. And you have to try to focus on that starvation factor with EnVy. These guys, class act, all three of them. And we've seen it here so far in the first game. Even whenever you get 1 or 2 great chances, the defense is just too strong.
And watch out for LJ. He's had a couple of times where he caught a little bit of space in midair, and definitely high striking potential out of LJ. So if they can find a way to create a little bit more space, really for anyone on this team, and find those passes that they were having success with at the start of the game, they could worm their way back in game number 2, but very clean from EnVy.
It was that little delay flick that we saw earlier on from, I believe it was LJ and Krasix, where they were coming out of their own end on the transition game, and they decided, I think it was Krasix right here, he decided to wait a little bit just to get that flick out, and then LJ exploded out of his own half. That was something else. That play alone was enough to give me confidence that BoSF have the potential to, you know, possibly make an upset or at least get a game or 2 off of EnVy.
So, the Board of Shadowy Figures going to try to find a way back into this match. EnVy trying to make like G2 and get a clean sweep out into round number 3. Don't have to worry about this until next week. Krasix gets the first touch, but Turbo gonna force Toasty to work for his clear. Nice little catch from Mist. If EnVy just keep doing that, catching the ball out every time BoSF get a clear, BoSF are gonna find it very difficult to get anything going. Turbo taking the boost away, got the pass to Mist. LJ all over this one, and they'll have a little bit of space.
But everybody on EnVy, they've got so much boost in the tank. Turbo, now Atomic just wasted all of his, but he had about 70 starting that aerial. Then Turbo coming out here, just picked up the corner one. He's gonna run into the opponent's half as well, taking boost, rotating out, and just continue with this pressure. You know, if you're BoSF, it's gonna be difficult to take that away, that element from EnVy whenever they're starving you.
Cool, but that was a good job by Toasty. Missed. Yeah, sometimes you can get caught out trying to be a little too controlling onto the ball. If the defending team sniffs it out and they start diving a little bit more, it could turn into a bad 50 headed the other way, but EnVy get the ball back, and Atomic knows that 50 was coming, tried to slow it down. Krasix contends against Atomic for the ball. Turbo gets the next touch, and EnVy prevent BoSF from moving downfield again. Mist has 1 to beat. He's got Turbo. Krasix made the save, and LJ will clear it back out to the corner.
A little bit of a ball chasey moment from LJ where he had spawned, I believe, in the corner, then continued pushing forward. That's something you can't be taking the risk against EnVy. Usually they will punish you. And here's one from Turbo Pulsa. Somehow manages to recover nicely and get a little scoop.
Fairly routine for Turbo here. Missed on the backside, takes out a defender, but Krasix just cut in a little hard. Maybe thought he had an extra second, but Turbo stayed right behind that ball. Very good control from Turbo to get the first goal for EnVy.
Well, and he's got a lot of time as well on the ball. I mean, he got that first flick. I think he was just looking to beat out the first defender, but instead realized, you know, nobody's going to challenge me. Might as well try and get a second shot. And he got one on net. 3 minutes left. EnVy, they've got space to work with.
Mist has the catch. Turbo on the turn.
Demo.
Gets the goal off the demo. Sails it in. EnVy 2-goal lead.
And I love going to Mist's perspective here because he's on the one-on-one, or the one-on-one, excuse me. And then he gets the wave dash, pushes forward, and a demo. It doesn't look that fancy, but that play right there, communication's got to be spot on. Mist has got to get that demo and predict as to whether or not the defender sees him and jumps instead. So huge plays, even though it's not the prettiest ones.
A lot of the time, it's the little things that pushes a player higher and higher up on people's individual rankings. And I think that Mist's consistency is exactly what has put in a lot of fans' minds. You know, they call Mist one of the best players in North America now.
Yeah.
And he's absolutely earned that respect.
100%.
With how he's looked on the field. In every aspect of the game, he shows you something else that he can contribute, something else that he can give EnVy a boost on.
Yeah.
And it's very good for Team EnVy. They look very solid in game number 2. BoSF, they only have one shot registered on net.
Well, even if you were to save these replays and watch it through a player like Mist's perspective, there's a couple of moments where this one almost developed that passing play. All three of them got a touch on it. Could have been nasty. Fortunately, I don't think Turbo managed to connect on the finishing shot, but I was just saying Mist. Whenever you watch somebody like this, this player's perspective, a lot of times you assume he's gonna go for a double commit or he'll make a mistake eventually. But he ends up turning off. He has such great awareness as to where his teammates are, where his opponents are. Here he doesn't, on where the shot's gonna come out. And maybe we've got a little bit of a comeback from BoSF.
Yeah, I like this carry from Krasix. He popped it under Turbo and missed the whole way. He sees Krasix on the carry, so he's like, okay, shade, I'm going to be able to pick that up. But then Toasty pops up on his cam out of nowhere. And he's like, oh. And I think he knew that the pass, there was potential for a pass there, and he knew Toasty was approaching. Yeah. But then as Krasix jumped up in the air, it kind of hid where exactly Toasty was, so it was hard for Mist to really figure out where that was going to go. Compile that with the miss from Turbo, and that was a tough position for Mist to be in, and a good job by BoSF. But here come EnVy on a quick passing play that Toasty sends out to the side. Atomic sends it right back in, and Turbo can't punch the ball into the net. Another chance for BoSF. Krasix had to use a lot in the tank to get to that ball, used everything just to make the 50 happen. LJ flips it up again, opting for more control. They're able to beat that first defender, but that's where the play dies. For BoSF, they have to dive for another save. That one from LJ. Turbo. Another catch in front. Atomic's already up, has the defender clean beat on the play. But Toasty, he's gonna have to dive for his own ball in midfield now. And Turbo wastes more time off the clock.
I was amazed. That speed from Atomic. He was up so early to that ball. Not sure how they didn't actually get one resulting out of that speed, but EnVy, well, it's only a 1-goal lead from them. It's very confident. A demo now for Mist on the last man back. Gives Turbo the space to get the clear. Nice little transition. It's cut out. But Atomic, again, too fast in the midfield. BoSF, they have been pushing up a bit more. Maybe they're going to get, you know, a final second shot here.
Toasty sends it downfield. Atomic, a nice catch, but Krasix is there. Toasty tried to get in the way, and Krasix, an unfortunate kick off of his car. LJ was a little too close for that, and EnVy will take game 2. Felt like LJ especially was heating up at the end. Yeah. His positioning was a little more aggressive. He was cutting off some good passes that EnVy were trying to put together, and it put BoSF in some favorable positions that I don't think they were ready for. But that could mean something for them heading into game 3, Turtle. Yeah,
I'm a big fan of Krasix. I think, especially from that first passing play, we're going to take another look at it in the replays. If you pay attention to the pass that Krasix put on with that air dribble across, it was almost an illusion because it looks like he's going to take that himself, but instead he's opting to go and carry it over to a teammate. It looks so much like he's just going to keep taking it, but he wraps around the side of the ball, slows it down, and pitches it across. So plays from Krasix. He also had a crazy little delayed flick in the first game. So Krasix, I think he's the backbone right now. If they're going to make a play and get an opportunity, it's going to be from him.
And we'll see if they can put together a couple good sequences. EnVy are a tough defense to crack through. Yeah. If EnVy score first, it's very hard to take them down. So BoSF, can they build on what they have done in games 1 and 2? and try to take the lead in a game. Atomic slowing it down in front. But Toasty gets a favorable touch for LJ. All about how they approach this on defense. Toasty recognizes the space. Now he's got boost, time, and a double? Maybe. No, it's taken away by Atomic out to the side, but that's how you like to see BoSF start. Force that 50 against the back wall. Make EnVy beat you. Don't beat yourselves on offense. Missed. Slow carry in front. It'll be denied.
Not a lot of space here. BoSF, they managed to get out their own half a bit, but nobody's waiting on the other side. It's hard to expect that. Anticipate a solid 50 against everybody from EnVy. There's a huge clear, and I talk about expecting a massive clear to come out. Somebody was there, I believe it was LJ, but Turbo so fast to find a response.
Oh, and Krasix, that's a nice first touch, but Turbo was right on top of it. You know, we see the good idea. The good ideas are there against EnVy. They're really trying to mix it up, but they get caught out on plays like that, where maybe one too many passing plays for EnVy in front, but Krasix stops the ball against Turbo, and Atomic just kicks the ball back out to the orange wall. LJ gonna take lead for BoSF. On the carry, got one flip reset out, and Turbo just couldn't figure out what was gonna happen with LJ on that play. He was behind the ball the whole time. Was expecting him to push it a little farther forward, but he will eventually get that clear.
Turbo has been fantastic on the defensive line and also on the midfield. Reading clears, now getting a turn here to continue the pressure forward. He is the X factor. You know, we talked about Atomic making plays and, you know, having those mechanics, but Turbo, I think that his speed alone so far in this game is what has kept them comfortable on the defense.
You definitely expect that from Turbo, Pulsa, right? He just seems to consistently be that force on the field for EnVy, which is why, you know, a lot of the analysts do call him the Rock of EnVy, or maybe some call it Mist. I think Mist and Turbo both can be the centerpiece, depending on the match, depending who they're playing. They get a high ball out in front to Atomic, who said it's a... What is going on, all right? I don't even... Everyone was committing on that play. LJ was sitting in net, being like, I'm going to get scored on. And then the ball banged off the crossbar and no goal happened. I was so confused.
It was such a difficult pass, too, from Turbo, where Mist banged it up to Turbo on the wall. And in that instance, Turbo had the option to either follow the momentum with the bounce off the wall, but it would have been too strong. He tried to slow it down for Atomic. He couldn't do it enough. And Atomic now, the cleanup, things getting so much closer for EnVy. We're still scoreless somehow, some way. Through all this pressure, BoSF have managed to hold on.
Through the pressure, through the physical game from EnVy, that had a couple demos, and now they take the lead! Krasix off of the pass in front of the box. Toasty sets him up for greatness.
LJ, he took the boost and sped all the way across the net, took out the goalkeeper. He had full confidence in his boys rotating in. He didn't even want to rotate back. Might as well just turn up on the goal line, take out a defender. Massive play from LJ. These guys, BoSF, I'm impressed.
One shot, one goal, but lots of time left for EnVy. Maybe tied up there, LJ giving way for Toasty. Turbo, weak ball. He was looking for Atomic. Atomic gets the ball anyway and launches it back down to the opposite corner. Turbo a little close, but he comes off the wall and handles it. That's only going to be for BoSF. At this point, BoSF are happy with the defense that they've played. They'll take those 50s all day and take a 1-0 victory, but why not 2 to pad the lead just a little bit? Atomic gonna find Mist up on the side wall, bumps it out for Atomic, got a really light touch onto the ball, tough to handle. Turbo through traffic, got the double, and almost got dunked was LJ by Atomic, but the ball stays out of the net. EnVy having a lot of trouble finding the orange net.
It looked scary, but LJ had him read the whole time. He saw Turbo going for the second touch, and now Krasix getting in front of the shot. They are reading these passing plays so well, but that one isn't going to get intercepted no matter if you have the prediction. It was too fast.
It's a perfect pass from Mist to Turbo.
Look at the shot, too.
The shot was, I mean, everything was perfect from EnVy on that play. Nice kick out from Mist. And all right, we got a tie game. The BoSF, certainly for not a lack of trying on their part. LJ, jumped that one a little too early. Atomic takes the ball away again. EnVy on the catch here from Turbo. Turbo around, back to Mist, and it's barely taken away by Toasty.
Last little touches here, keeping them alive, BoSF. Toasty, the midair bump. He almost got 2 Turbo. LJ, oh, if he had gotten the response, the answer to both of those bumps, I would have loved to see the replay. Unfortunately, we don't get to see it. EnVy, how did they manage to hold on?
Everyone trying to go for bumps on BoSF now. Toasty can't get by Mist. LJ takes Mist out of the play, but Atomic was following him closely. Krasic stops one, and LJ stops the second. Mist the last man back just to force overtime? Yeah, Krasic kills it, and here we go. BoSF trying to stay in the upper bracket, trying to stay for game 4.
We've seen the bump attempts from BoSF. Something different, Atomic now. Off the demo from Mist. Turbo, the whiff, that was such a big hit. He needed to get a touch to have some kind of shot. Instead, they get no opportunity. And LJ was looking for a bump, still getting more physical.
Turbo on the pass was connected, but not before Toasty could get there. And whoops, Atomic will get back down and hope nobody caught that. We did. Missed, double tap, but just to keep the ball locked, preventing a clear. Atomic swoops around one, has to face LJ, he wins. Now Krasic can't really find an angle out. Turbo pulls off on the play. Toasty and LJ double commit, but LJ gets the best touch you could have in that situation. Turbo, pot shot, Toasty will get the clear. Back down to the corner. How do BoSF find the path? Hard ball off the backboard to Krasic, shot right into Atomic. But LJ lurking closely, and Turbo beats him to the ball. It is a close retreat for BoSF. They're in trouble in front of the box, and misplaced pinball, and EnVy sweep them out of the upper bracket.
Absolute chaos in front of the net. Mist just crashed this, trying to get a 50 that squeezed into the net. Toasty flies from the left wall and pitches it off of his own teammate. That slips in. It was just overwhelming from BoSF, but credit to their defense holding on. Couple of good opportunities from them, but EnVy at the end of the day, too consistent. There is no upset, even though I would like to think there was potential. There was potential, Jordan.
I like this BoSF team. I really do. I mean that. When they obviously have a lot of synergy and they have a lot of good ideas heading down the pitch, but I just think that EnVy matched the ebb and flow too well. They were really good at adapting. That's part of what makes them a top team in North America. So impressive stuff. We had 2 teams in the top 4 that swept their opponents, and then the other 2 got eliminated in game 5 overtimes. So perfect symmetry today, Turtle, and we don't usually get that. But today we did, and it was great. GG's to BoSF. I'm excited to see their run in the lower bracket tomorrow.
Yeah, and the question is, how do these teams that are getting the upsets, or even BoSF, you know, this is a good look from them. How do they carry on forward, moving into, like you said, the rest of the tournament? We'll see. It's going to be a lot of room to grow for everybody, even the teams who did get upsets. But overall, you know, the top 4 in NA not looking the most solid, and there's room for upsets.
There is room for upsets. The first regional entirely up for grabs after day 1. We'll take it back to the Leaf and the guys to close out the day.